Since it seems like my screen seems to freeze all the time, I'm going to give you a better part of the camera that keeps on falling down. You know, like London bridges falling down, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, reasons for things all over the world, wherever they are. Right now, I can't even set up a camera. You got a guy sitting in front of you, can't even get his face properly in front of the camera, and he's talking about trying to reorganize the world. So he sits a little bit far back. And by sitting far back, okay, the angle, okay, when I'm close is like this at about 5.125 degrees. And of course, there's a reason for it because 5 times 125 is 625, in which multiplied by alpha, omega, z, and 0. Well, you want to reverse it? Which way do you want to go? God's at the beginning, he's at the end. He's A and he's Z. Okay? So omega and Z is OH. It's O! And when you go O, why do you say O? Because the 26th letter, which is the letter Z, which also could be represented as the letter N, but leaned over with a straight back, okay, on a 45-degree angle and not an open H on a 45-degree angle, will increase and tell you a different story within the numbers that are presented within. So, where was I? You see, I tried to get so technical and funny and fast, I screw up the whole thing. So from what I'm trying to be serious to start with, ends up to be a game to where I forget, and the only one who's sad is myself. And so anyways, there's just so many things. I came on here. I have a cat that keeps crying. I know she's sick because her eyes are like, hey, man, what's going on? So I walked over to her, and I gave them food. I thought they were hungry. And this cat jumped into the dish. There's 6 other cats around. This one jumps into the dish and is eating everything around her. And then I picked her up, and I said, you're not nice to do this. You're going to be a sick girl one day. And I put her down, and she wasn't moving. And she's crying. And her mother's trying to help her, and I called her grandmother, and her father's here because I got all the family. And anyways, that's not working. What I did study is the soccer ball I'm going to be working on next, and exactly what the soccer ball means according to the creation of the totality of the shapes and squares and lines and whatever else it is. And regarding to that, the point of the matter is, my point is I'm pointing this on right on my nose. Who I am, through my body, into this earth, and back up to God and how I got there through the Spirit. It's all about how we connect through the Spirit and how the Spirit gets around. How does he make his move? Through the heat? Through the wind? Through the fire? In the air? Is it the water? It's not much more than that. And then you start going with the rest, because once you start adding the rest of these elements and you put them together, we call back Einstein and say, Einstein, did he put in the spirit, or was it a little bit of soul? Because we know the spirit is basically the water. Okay, it's a tarty, a vinegary water, like wine. Just like the vines, just like vines are strings, just like the spirits are strings, just like we play the guitar with the strings, just like we also play, what do you call that? Is it a violin? No, it's not a violin. A harp. Of course, a harp. Starts out big at the bottom, make the world bigger, gets small as soon as it gets back home. Of course, the smaller keys, ding, 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 ding. Anyways, we won't get to that. We're making a joke. I have to go for a cigarette. I'll take a smoke. I already did the hash and hard stuff, but it was no good. I got to get rid of it or stop it. This guy's ripping me off. Just like I said, for a smart guy, I seem to be falling at certain areas, right? You're absolutely right. But when it's for somebody else, this is the way it has to work. Imagine you're inside of here. Regardless of what happens inside of here, the extension is over here. Even if the middle is over here, the extension is out here. You see the difference of the space? Okay? Look at that. The angle is like this, but once they go down, depending where they are, Look at the angle sharpened. This one must always stay in the center. Therefore, there's always going to be a passage right here. Straight in here and straight up. Because the sooner you stop that slope, okay, in this scenario, because we cannot slope everything straight in. It ends up going this way and this way and this way and this way. And that's why it got to go into the 5-hole. And how does the 5-hole get created? Well, it's pretty simple. We've got two 11s. And now you got the cross. Now they are joined. So now where that join is, okay, right in the center here, okay, that element of spirit has a place to aim for, like a funnel. It knows exactly where it's going. It didn't exist before. It was a space between the two cigarettes, but once they came together, that's your spirit connect, okay? And once the element of Christ goes through, you've got 6 points that we count, and that's the Magen David. That is the do not enter, that is the enter, that is the railroad crossing on Monopoly. If you put them together, one on this side is 9 and one on the other side is 11, I take it away, I got 10 again. Altogether, I had 30. But if you actually count the 1 plus, as I took one away, but let's count it as 1 got taken away, and I added 1. So 1 taken away equals to 1, and adding 1 equals to 1, plus the 10, you have your 12. And that's why the 12 is the totality of the 2 sticks added up together, when 1 was actually a plus and 1 was actually a minus for 9/11. And that brings up another thing. I did a little number thing with 9/11. It's insane. Oh my God, it's all insane. Oh my God. Not only did I study the soccer ball, but I have not yet developed anything on paper. But I had looked at something else, and again, I forget. But give me a second and I'll remember. 9/11, oh yes. The seasons. Seasons in the sun. If you, my friends, do not like me, that's fine, but I'm going to tell you one thing, what I believe. The music that is out there will tell us where the numbers of creation and in what season what happened every single time. Just don't forget, 7, 8, and 9, everything is played from 1 to 6. Although actually we are mostly 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Why are we 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? Because on every single card, the 4 card, the 5 card, the 6 card, the 7 card, the 8 card, and the 9 card, the 4 corners are covered. The 4 card, they're covered on the exterior as alpha delta, and you're still in the first world. A, B, C, D. E is the connecting world. E this way, 3 that way. E went that way. No, tree went that way. What tree went that way? There's no tree here. Stop barking up a tree. Where's the dog? Oh, gotta be afraid of the cat. We're in the beta world. That's what she represents. Isn't that what it's all about? She's at the top of the cone. You see the way this cone up here? You see the round part of my head? Do you remember the hats the pharaohs used to make? Do you know why? Because when you take a dice cube and you cut them off, right, the proper way around, it turns into your head and it goes right around and they put it on. If you flip it upside down, you can put an egg in it, cook it a little bit, and then you can eat right out of your hat. Because that's what the hat is all about. It's all about your egg head created to be put on the top of the head of an egg. And Pharaoh was the king of all eggs. 5775 is the year represented in that. It's in October on the 4th. It could be the 3rd. It might be the 5th. It's probably the night. It might be the eve. You see, if it was the eve, it's all the best thing. Because it's the eve of the night, okay, that we gained all our knowledge. When Eve touched the forbidden fruit, man became smart. He learned right from wrong, from how to and how not to. And who cares who thinks of why I shouldn't anymore? What's the difference? I know both sides. I can just creep my way all the way through. Isn't that what life is all about? Get what you could as fast as you can. They usually say, take it and go. Isn't that what it is? Is it to go, sir? You see, in the money world, you got to take it and go. But everybody keeps taking it, and they want to go up. No, if it's to go, it's to go. You take it and go. But in the money world, fuck, they put it in their backyard. Like I said, let's get rid of all the money currency. No more money currency. Only change. Now let's see where they're going to put their money next. Now, the only thing you're allowed to have is change. You're only allowed to have $1 million in the bank. The rest you got to keep at home. It's not worth anything. The value in the bank, nobody can cover just in case there's a loss of your total value of the money. That's yours. In the bank, it's only on paper. Okay, so things must change. Okay, now I was talking about the soccer ball, and yes, Seasons in the Sun, the song. Spring, summer, winter, and fall. All you have to do is call, and I'll be there. I know I'm not a singer, but why? Because spring, summer, Saturday, Sunday, winter, Wednesday, fall, Friday. It tells you a story. Winter, falls, spring, summer, winter, and fall. Anyways, there's many songs to it, but spring Saturday is equal to a spring chicken, because it is the one day of God which reconnects the Sunday to the next day. Wednesday is included in this, and Wednesday is one of the holidays during the Jewish high holidays. Wednesday we do not go to shul, and one of the reasons there is no spirit in the Wednesday. I mean, there is a spirit, but it's the beta spirit. So it sort of hops over to the Tuesday and the Thursday. So on one time you can't go on the Tuesday, and the other time you can't go on the Wednesday. The one day is the Wednesday. Anyways, whatever it is, Wednesday's included. And the Spaniards, they call Wednesday the day of miracles. Spring, summer, winter, and fall. So you have all these seasons falling on the 7-7-7 of the month. 4 times. 1, 4, 7 fall under the spirit world of God. He is the controller. The 2, the 5, and the 8 is the in-between world, in between 1 and 3. There is nothing else but just 1. But 1 creates 8, makes 9. Man comes into this world as 10, and he gets the Spirit of God and the angle. Because he gets the angle, he has 1 more, the other one has 1 less. Altogether, 9, 10, and 11 equal to 30, which is the 4 months of 30 days, in which 1 month is in September, and it's the 9th month. It is an odd number. It is the birth month. It's totaling and talking for 7 and 9, because you jump over. Have you ever seen the design of the 2 and then you jump over the tail? Well, like I've said in a video before, because you're jumping from 25, the letter Y, over Z, because you don't need Z. Alpha is going alpha to alpha. He's going alpha to alpha, alpha, omega. Okay, he jumps over the Z because Z is the 8th letter. It's even. It's the beta world, and it's black. So you go from Y, the 25th letter, and what can connect next to Z? On the other side, sometimes Y, sometimes I, sometimes Y. Now, depending which way it is, okay, you must put the Y upside down, because one world is up. That was the first Y, and the first point of the Z is at the top. I'll show you here on paper, if you don't mind. You don't mind? You don't mind looking on paper? Is it okay? You see, in order to jump around, this Y goes up to connect up here. This Y goes down to connect over here. This is the 25th letter. This would be the 27th one. The A would be the 28th. The B would be the 29th. And the C would be creation. 30th. Creation. 3. C. C in the piano. The reason for. 25th key in the piano would be center C. 28th key. If you're running from here to here, from here to A, the 28th key would be the center C in piano. So here's what you actually get. But you don't only get this. You also get this. Here, I'm coming. I'm all excited. It's so good. It just comes into me. I feel so good. I'm so vibrant, you know, and I only can go at 1 speed. So I got to breathe. Because if I let in too much of that high blood pressure inside of me, and the low blood pressure cannot balance with it the way it's supposed to be. Don't forget, when it comes in on an angle, it's 1.25. The other one from the Christ comes straight, making a straight back ace, or the N or the Z letter when you turn it up. And that gives the 1.25 difference in your high and low blood pressure on average, based on that scenario. I'm going to go back and finish this. I just want to tell you something. I bumped into a colored fella. Well, he's got more color than me. And I looked at him, and I looked at him, and I looked at his hair. It was all curly. And I says, oh, Curly Moe and Joe. And all of a sudden, I got a whole other scenario. Had to run into the store to where the lottery was to grab a pen and write down what I was thinking. You know, it was so crazy. It was just so crazy. But the reason that they're curly is because they got the double-edged spirit of beta. Okay, and to me, the double-edged spirit of beta is you come into this world and nobody is white. I'm beige, and depending on what else and whatever happens, I'm only beige. Okay, I believe that it was a whitewash. Okay, I believe the Holy Ghost. I guess they call him the white man, Holy Ghost. Although I see, excuse me to say this. Maybe I know the wrong people, but I'm a little off in a little bit of everything right now. And I think, yes, white man is the Holy Ghost. The black guy, okay, he's the black angel. Do you know why? Because the black angel is connected through the electronics of the blue world, the yellow world, and red world more equally than anybody else. That energy pushes through them from one shoulder here, one shoulder over here, okay, and two sides of their head, crisscrossing down into the ground. Okay, when it hits the ground, it causes the ground, just like the copper and the iodine or whatever it is that grounds into the ground. And the wiring, okay, that hits the ground, not only does it go through your feet, okay, right through your shoes, because your shoes are made with whatever's in God, okay, but it curls around you and goes around you and makes a heart, and that's your aura. That's how it's created in the numbers world. Okay, do you understand? It hits the ground and it goes around. You don't always see what goes around. It goes around, comes around, and then it hits you back in the head again. And then it goes up, but it doesn't go up this way. It comes up from here. Your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your ass. How do you think it goes back up? You got to release under your armpits, between your toes. That's where all the action is. That's where it's all happening. Just because what you think and what you know and what you do is so different to the real knowledge of what's actually going on in our bodies, if you're not interested, well, it's happening, and if you don't care, you don't care. You see, that's what I can accept so much more than a person who couldn't care less. I can accept so much more than a person who couldn't care less. So this is one of the letters it makes. Just look at the black. You ever see this letter leaning forward? I don't have the complete design here, but I'm going to finish off this letter. Okay? Why I have to finish off the letter, do you remember I once told you with the X, when you have an X and you have a pot like this and a pot like this, it's a created line? You see, this line comes from 3 blocks. 4 blocks. This is created from 4 blocks. To begin with, the house of God has 4 blocks. A, B, C, D. Go inside and design. Because all tilts inside that box, as you go up one level, all tilts. How can I say that? In tic-tac-toe, as you go up from the 7, 8, 9 to the next level, if you have a stick that can fit in a certain area, okay, how can I explain this? If you want your stick to get right into the corner, that's why the roulette is a little bit longer. If you want it to get into that top corner of that last box and make your last box, you're gonna chop up shark teeth all the way up to the top. Okay, is the way it has to be done. But if it was straight, the angle, okay, the minimum angle would be 5.125 degrees. That is the minimum angle it can be on a sharp angle with a stick element trying to reach the top level. Okay? Let's say you start here at 90 degrees, okay? And then it goes like this, all the way out, And as it shortens, as you go up levels, and you're always touching the top. As this always goes up to the top, the point is almost straight up with it. It almost goes straight with it. Did I explain that properly? I hope I did. I saw it so well. Let me see if I can explain it again. Let me see if I can explain it again. It's on this angle, okay? 5.125 degrees, okay? The actual time on the clock would be, well, 5 minutes would be 1.25, no, 5 oh my God, 5 minutes. I mean, what is that? What did I say, 5.125 degrees? Hold on a second, what's that? 15 minutes? Let me see this. 5.125 divided by 0.25 equals, oh my God, times 0.25. Oh my God. It equals to 20.5. That's insane. That's insane. What does that mean? Like I said, the Mayan count and all the numbers are calculated for the seasons in 21 days, 3 by 7, and then to the 10-10 world, you have the 4 months of 10 by 10 by 10 by 10. And the reason for that is because 1, 9, only one of them is 30 days. You got 61. 2, 8, February, 28, and 31 in August, 59. 3, 7, 31 and 31 is 62. The 7th gate of creation. Numbers just keep working up. They keep telling the same story of truth. I can go on and on. If you haven't learned to learn, or if you don't want to believe any of this, obviously you wouldn't be watching these videos anymore. And if this is your first time, welcome. Do you want to know how this all began? I was writing a book. At least I thought I was writing a book. I was writing stuff on paper, and I didn't know how to transmit it into a book. So I just came out here on YouTube, and I blabbed my way through my diaries and whatever I think and reverberate through my thoughts and mind, and so on and so forth. So anyways, we did the seasons. I'm going to be doing that. And the 30 days, and the reason for 31, and the reason for September having 30 days, and it's an odd number, and the reason for August being an even number, and the only even number that has 31 days, because August, okay, is the heavens. 8, 31 days makes 39. 39 means 10. 10 means perfect. Perfect. We got the heaven here and the heaven here. That's why it ends up to be the number 9, 39, because it's perfect. 39 plus heaven number as H would be 847, meaning time, okay? Or we can also go to 49, which means number 8, as in a word, and 39, and put them together and get 98. And again, August, September, or the octagon of October. 789 again. 789, 789, 789. That's all we talk about, isn't it? Unless you're under the illusion of spirit of 76, we'll talk about June and July. The creation of 23, we'll talk about February and March. If you want to talk about the only Son of God, now we'll talk about January or October. Now I'm confused because I am born in October. 57, 75, I'll be 51. I'll be 51, but I'll be 5.125 because I'll be 51 years old, and my world, 6, crossing over to 4, passing through 5, back and forth. 5 by 5 is 25, making me 5.125. This year is going to be 777 for me since I had this transformation. This is so exciting because I know it's not supposed to reach 21. It's only supposed to reach 20, and the reason it's 20.5 is because it has to stay on the right side, because the right side of the tank is the side to the full, to the half empty. This is the time where it's really important. You can't be on this side over here, because if it's half empty, you're out. You know what I'm saying? So you can't be on the half empty side, otherwise you're going to death. Okay, so we take it in the center. Now, how did I explain this before? Now, this is very exciting. When I start to learn things while I'm talking to you and trying to tell you what I know or what I think, I'm learning right in front of you. Oh, God. 7, 8, and 9. 30 days, September. The reason for the seasons. You want a reason for the seasons? Give me a song. I'll break down any song, any word, anything, anytime, anywhere. I can do it now. By the time you watch this video, I might be locked up behind bars. Or worse. Or worse. I could be watching TV. Watching TV. Do you know what happens if you represent the beta world with the first Y of 25? When you put a 2 and 5 together, when you design them squarely, it creates a TV. Not only that, there was one other thing that 2 and 5 do that I wanted to show you. I'm trying to figure out which way I should do this. We're going to go down like this. Now I want to know something, okay? This is a straight line. This can be an add-on. If that's like this, there's a curvature in here. If there's a curvature in here, there's a pin in here. If there's a pin in here, there's a dot in here. There can be a cross-angle passage through here, since there's one right up here, closing in at this angle at 45 degrees at 1:30 in the afternoon, or 1330 minutes, 30 in the afternoon, or 135, which is the birth. Did you know that? 1330 is 1:30. It also can be said as 1.5 or 13.5. 5013. You're born again. What is this? Well, I'm going to show you what it is. J5. Why is this J5? Okay, I'm going to tell you why this is J5. I'm going to show you a little bit something. I don't always do this, but sometimes I do this, and I'm just gonna just give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna try and get done if I actually can, but I already screwed up. What has to happen is these numbers and these circles are either A, the planets. When everything is over, the 5 curls up. This part over here of the 5 swings over. Okay? So we're going to take it and we're going to swing it over. And then when we swing that part of the 5 over, okay, look what you end up with. An S, okay? And just cut that S off. Okay? Anybody play Pac-Man? He's starting to eat the rest. Transporter of the planets. Our numbers, our letters are transporters of the planets. When they're broken and pieced together again in the ship, in the ship that we live right now, inside. Hey, I'm outside. You're outside your house. Where are you outside? Outside of what? What's above and what's below? Do you actually know? You only know down a couple of thousand miles. A couple of thousand miles. What's a couple of thousand miles? Go straight down 100,000 miles and tell me what you see. What? What? I can't hear you. I guess the communication broke. There is no downstairs. When you go downstairs, you end up going upstairs, and the planes keep going round and round the world. Because there is no downstairs. There really is no upstairs. Like I said before, the outside universe is not tame. It's cold out there. It's hot out there. And God's got to keep on picking at the ice, making sure that the universe leaves enough space for our solar system to exist within inside this ship. So we're constantly moving, okay, and always bumping into a different area. And what that does is soul is everywhere. Beta is everywhere. With the right mixture of energy, the Spirit of Christ can enter anything. All it is science, and God's it. He's the #1 scientist. Of course. I must have found one of his tricks he left for us. I might be one of his mice. That doesn't let my mind stop for a minute. Why let your mind stop when it can be doing something useful? I don't have to do too much with my hands, then play with my cigarette in front of my face and play with my mustache and think and think and think. You don't think? This works for the diet? I'm constantly moving and writing and thinking. I lose more weight writing than I would actually walking. Unless I'm actually thinking and walking, then I'd have to have my pen with me, and it wouldn't be too much of a walk, right? It's always a walk when you're with the hand of God, because you can never feel this good unless you have the hands of someone who can tell you a truth higher than the higher of who you are. And that only can be risque, and all it means is you've reached a point in your mind in where you believe it's connected somewhere else, but it has no connection to anything yet unless you can invert your ass. The ace. Ass is up, head's down. So like I was telling you, when the spirit goes through here, like on the 3 dice, or on the 3 dice, on the 3 dice, or actually here, it's right here. You're in the center. Here's your shoulder over here. Here's your other shoulder over here. It generates down from one side to the other side, and from one side to the other side. Anybody see the Da Vinci Code, the Da Vinci, the Last Supper? Well, Jesus' head is leaned down to this, okay? And that would be this way, and he's got his number 1 side open, going down to his number 9. He's going 1 to 9 from his ear. If nobody's ever figured it out before, I'm telling you what it is. I can tell you that whole picture if you want, okay? So anyways, I don't want to act like a big shot. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. Get myself some marks. So Jesus is leaning over to Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene, okay, who's sitting this way, and he's showing her left ear, okay, which is the creation, the doors, the heaven's way in. That is what they call... you see the way the V is? It's more back straight. Like I said, everything is slanted in this world. Above it, okay, is a half of a comma window with 2 little U's on the outside. And the reason for that, okay, is because the 9 and the 0, okay, which is your birth and into the 10 world, okay, of beta, 10 world of beta, 10 world of alpha. They don't mark them both, okay, but that's why they put the 10 at the end. Those brackets is what's over the world, and it's showing him half a life, his dome over his life. Under the window it would go under, except if you design it with the window with different color, you will see that it on the sides there's an 11 and 2 little 11s connecting each side, the cross cut. You know what I'm saying? And that window that's there, okay, has a 22.5 degree slope. Well, the way I see it, which is whoosh, right down to the bottom. That's the way that one connects. It becomes a 2-world connection. The picture shows 3 windows, okay? And if you take a look at the tapestry on the wall, it's all T's and I's. Underneath the table, it's saying 323 all over the place. I'm going through this very quickly, okay? And if you see the way they're sitting, if you see the way they're sitting, on one side of the table, right on the corner are 2 men, and just before them are 2 men. Well, I think they're at 45 minutes each. It shows 2 o'clock, okay? But it's not possible, okay? It can't be 2 o'clock because the spirit angle can't be at 2 o'clock. It's got to be 2 times 45 minutes because there's 2 people and 2 people on one side, okay? It's got to be 2 times 45 minutes, which makes an hour and a half. An hour and a half is 90 minutes, and it creates a 45-degree angle from 12 o'clock to 1:30, okay? Which shows one side of life, straight back. It's not an open V, 45-45 showing 2 lights, okay? It's a straight back V. It's from 12 o'clock. It's not from 11 to 1, 11-11, or 23-23. It's not that, or 23-11, whatever you want to call it. Okay, it's a straight back V from where Jesus is, and they're sitting at 1:30, these 2 people, okay, which makes an hour and a half, 90 minutes. 9-0, the one bracket over the door, the 9 birth, Christ, Mary Magdalene on the angle, holding the child, which is more or less, you can call it more or less. Anyways, we're not going to call it what it's. And not only that, okay, but Judas Iscariot is sitting at the end of the table. He's got his two thumbs on the table, spirit and soul directly at the table. He's pointing with both fingers at the edge of the table. He's got 3 fingers and 3 fingers under the table, 6 and 4. Representation, again, of man of the heaven. Although he was a bad dude, his fingertip action on the table created exactly what it was. And at the end, it's a half a life. Because if it was a full life, it'd be the H. This is the whole H. The reason I don't need to show the rest is because I'm below it. My arms show the bottom of the extension of these fingers creating the H. I never saw a Hurley sign with a whoosh, whoosh. And then, you know what I'm saying? Call me crazy. Tell me all I have is ideas. But what I think about my stuff is good. My stuff is good. Is my stuff good? No. My stuff is insane. I do not have enough time to write stuff down, although I've told you this before I get another idea and onto something else. It's almost like I'm getting a backlog into my computer. But that's a good thing because Sabbath is on Friday. I don't eat pork anymore. But every Friday, I throw out all my shit from the week before. I save it only for 1 week. After that, I throw out the papers. I don't need the backlog. It comes back and I repeat. I need to repeat and repeat and repeat and not stop until repeating until every line becomes a dot. When every dot has no more than a difference of 0.5. For there is a path to pass within every single dot for that same distance, whether it is up or down at any time, because now we have the passage. What do I think about my work? I love it. And my biggest prayer, okay, is a sad prayer because it's for myself. I don't want to lose what I have. I don't want to lose my want to put things right in this world. If I have to reach the top and call myself, don't call me anything. But if I ever reach the top where I'm at the peak of the top and I have the choice to rule over the entirety, first, I will not be ruling alone. I will only be more than a box. And everybody sends in what we need to do, and everybody votes, and we get things done, and then we service the roads, and we service the things, because those are the things that have to get done. But the towns can take care of themselves, and the interstate, well, we can do it by the mainstream. But the mainstream is done by 52 states. So many delegates in each state to only one of me. Now that I have taken over only one of me, I've taken over everything. And there's the delegates and the congressmen have come into my office, and they're 100. And I'm only one. The only difference between me and them is I get 9 votes. So if there are 300 men in the room and I vote first, I get the first 9 votes. Why? Because I represent the 9. Now the breakdown of the 9 breaks down my value into the number of people that are in office. Right now, they are not doing it this way. Anyways, it's all a bunch of hogwash. I still have to do the seasons. I'm going to do that in my next video, along with catching up. And I've already deciphered some of the guide stones, but I've really never taken a great big look at them other to know that they're stones, and they've got really nasty words on them. And actually, they have fantastic words on them. I can read it, that sign, a different way. Of course, we have to bring this world down to 500 million, okay, insane people. 500 million, okay, is not 500 million. There are 3 eggs. Take away 2 of the eggs. You have to remain 1 egg yourself, plus the egg when you return to heaven, so that would make the fourth egg. You get the 4th egg when you return to heaven. Okay, so now we have, what was I talking about? Again, I mustered it up. You had there were three eggs. Yes, yes, yes. There were three. There were three eggs, and now you're one egg. You're one egg. I'm trying to figure out what I was talking about. I'm really sorry about this. There was one egg, and you were three eggs. And now you're one egg. You're a bad egg. Raphael 7286 in the constellation of Pegasus. Thank you.